Hello, everyone. I'm happy to announce that I've put together an Imperial diplomacy game of experienced players starting on October 10th, the Pumpkin Cup. If you want to spectate that, feel free to join the Imperial Diplomacy Hub server using the link below in the description, and then navigate to the announcement or B1 underscore 2-6 games channel to find the invite link. Once in the server, you can become a spectator and watch along with everyone else who's going to be watching. The attached video after this announcement is of another player in this game, Salt, and I, Salt for the rest of the channel, going through the list of players in this game and ranking them based on how likely we think they are to win. Small caveat before we get into it is that one of the players, Kevin, had to drop out, unfortunately, due to some real life circumstances, and has been replaced by another player named Bumble, who I personally would rank in B tier. So keep that in mind. And with all of that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first public tier list video posted on my channel. This one is associated with the Pumpkin Cup, which at the time of this should have been pretty recently announced. Today I have Salt with me,
Hello.
and as you may be able to guess on the screen, today we're making a tier list. This is a pre-game tier list based on what Salt and I know of these players and our experiences of how likely they are to win the game. Now that is mostly going to be a ranking of skill, but I also think that there's a little bit of play style and experience that comes in here. So play styles that are more steady and less risky, I think, tend to perform better in games like this, right, Salt?
Yeah, I think that the more types of games like this that you play, the better you're going to get with them. The best way to learn the game, after all, is just play with people who are more experienced than you, and you'll kind of learn that way. So a lot of the top level players here are gonna be like names that you already know. So I mean, we'll get into that a bit later, but that's kind of how we're gonna be doing this.
Yes, and as you can see on screen, here are your tiers. It's pretty self-explanatory. Tiers S, A, B, C, D. We might rename these for the video depending on how we're feeling about all the members of the tiers. And at the bottom, we have all of the lovely players in the game. This tier list was made by the GM, actually, who put this together. The GM did. Stealthy, who I recruited because he did some wonderful work for a Fog of War game for Imperial Diplomacy. And, I
Great
figured,
GM.
yeah, great GM. And if you're ever making a game, an invitational of your own, make sure you get a really great GM because you can have some bad players, but if your GM is bad, well, it's going to be bad. We are not going to have that problem. So I guess with that all squared away, Salt, let's go alphabetically. Aeolus, where are we? Yeah, let's dig right into
Hmm.
it. For those
I've
unaware,
got
Aeolus is a pretty decent player. Obviously, everyone in the game is pretty decent. But he's won, I think, the most games of IMTIP of any player. That might be tied with Penguin down the list. I don't have that off the top of my head, but that's what I can recall.
how many wins does he have?
Oh, it's got to be like 3 or 4 at this point, I think, right?
That's crazy. I will say for sure. I do not keep track of games going on that I'm not in. So I don't know how many wins everyone here has. I'm sure most players have at least one, but like I don't know the records of anyone here. So this is like I didn't even know Alos had won a game until just now. That's how much I know going in. But do have I have played with them before. I haven't played in any of the games that they've won, but they've like subbed into positions that are like right next to me. They've done pretty well with it. And I was in with them in the A1 rerun game, and they were pretty solid there.
Mhm.
Solid skill. Pretty great person to talk to.
Yeah, my experience with Aeolus is in games where either I like do poorly and just ignore the game, or in games where he like in 1852, 1862, I can speak. He like subbed out after 1 year or whatever. I don't know if it was 1 year or two, but it's a bad impression, right?
Yeah, hopefully that won't happen this game.
Yeah. Now he's a solid player, won a bunch of IMTIP. I will say that the average IMTIP game has a lower skill level than this one, I do believe. Um,
Yeah,
and
100%.
and I will say I don't think he has much experience in uh these games yet, right? If we don't have the memory.
Yeah, I do think he's probably. I don't think he's like as good as like Ash Lale or uh Ezio here, but I do think he definitely belongs within this crowd. Maybe I don't know. I think maybe like the midpoint.
We'll
Um,
we'll start Aeolus at a solid B tier and work from there. I think. Yeah, everyone here
yeah.
belongs. Everyone here is of a really good skill level. So no matter who ends up in like S or D, anyone here can win this game. Could solo this game, I think. Except for me, I'm pretty bad. I'm the easy mark. No need to worry about me.
Me too, actually. You don't need to worry about me here.
All right, Ambrosius. Um,
Ambrosius is an easy S tier. I think I won't. I could hear A tier, but I think Ambrosius is like a sleeper pick, maybe. I don't know how far his reputation has really spread, but I don't think I've ever seen Ambrosius do badly in a game.
yeah, no, I mean it's just like this. You don't notice it at first if you're not like near him, especially. So like as Abyssinia, in the Ice Cream Invitational, and Ambrosius was Austria. I just kind of look up every once in a while, and I'm like, oh, Austria's doing a pretty good job here. Oh, Austria's position looks pretty decent. Oh, Austria just killed the Ottomans. That escalated
I
quickly.
don't know how he managed to do it either. He like flies under the radar. You don't really notice just how powerful that he's getting until it's too late to really do anything about it. Like I was next to him in A2A. I was Russia. He was Sophaves, and like we had a lot of interaction there. I've been next to him in like a few games now, I think, but he's always like manages to like put himself as the middleman between like two different players between him and manages to like set them up against each other and profit off of that. And I think that's something that most of these players do, and that's something that it works, right? Like it's something that most of these players want to be doing, something most of these players have done before, but that's all in like these low skill games, right? And Brazius has managed to do that in very high skill games, and he's done it in multiple of those games. It's not just like a one-off, right?
Mhm.
Like while he didn't win A2A, Captain Meme soloed that, but like I think he would have won that game if there wasn't a 90 center Spain going around. I don't know if he's actually won Imperial Diplomacy before. He probably has, but I don't know which game it is.
Uh,
Um,
I think he was in. Wasn't there? Wasn't he part of the Imp Unity for the ICI?
oh
Yes,
yeah,
he
he
was. Yeah,
was.
yeah, that was that Austria. So I think for now we're gonna top him in S tier because he did win in the last one, and it's looking pretty good. Um,
Do you have any experiences with him?
I can't recall any that I'm like directly next to him, but it is still that kind of like slow creeping, like just kind of just everywhere, man. Like, what are you gonna
Yeah,
do?
like you don't really notice him, but he's always got like these really solid spots set up.
Yeah. So he'll be up in S tier, and we'll see how we adjust these as time goes on. But I think Ambrosius will stick. Um, and I guess we're on to Aquastrali, um, who I don't have too much experience with. How much experience do you have with them, Salt?
I played two, maybe three games with them. Yeah, like I first played them when I subbed in for Downpours Portugal back in like A2. And I was like right next to them, and we spent that like I was only there for like 2 years, but spent the entire time just at war with each other. But it's like one of those wars where like you say that you'll make peace every turn, you just never do. So it's
Classic.
kind of like that. They Aqua sends a lot of press, I will say. I think they might send. I don't know. I don't want to say the most press, but definitely like top three pressers here. It's just text wall upon text wall upon text wall, and I think that you can't just like drown people out with like walls of press. I think with like newer players, it does happen. Obviously, there aren't any new players here, but I think
I do think I want to say
it.
it as regards with lots of press though. I think when players get this experienced, that you do have to be careful that you're not sending too much press because if you send too much press to anyone in this game, I think that a lot of the players here are also just going to tune you out, and just kind of read the board. At least that's what I do sometimes, right?
Yeah, for me at least, when I see that, like, I know that I need to like build up some kind of response that's kind of proportional to what I got sent. but it's just so much that I like end up saving it for some other time, and then when that happens, it's just a lot less back and forth.
There's a lot
So
less of a
a lot less
rapport.
ends up, yeah. You just kind of end up like it's weird, right? Like you send messages and it's like an hour until another one gets sent. So there's a lot less going on there than normal press channels.
Yeah.
Like I think it can work. I think it probably will work out for them with like their neighbors. Like I don't think there's anyone who like hates to get press, you know. It's just kind of a sometimes it takes a while to like properly respond to all of that.
Yeah. Um, it can be a handful. Now I will say
Yeah.
Aqua Strawley, good player. I mean, everyone here. I'm gonna say that so many times, and be like, this guy's a good player, along with everybody else.
Yeah,
Um,
the baseline here is just good player.
he's been in less wins than Aeolus, as far as I can tell, and doesn't have too much experience in like the big boards against a bunch of other people like this. So I don't know about you. I'm kind of inclined for C tier at the moment.
I think B it might be a bit better. I don't think they're worse than Eagles.
Okay, we'll do that for now. We're gonna have to be mean at some point. So some people are gonna be getting knocked down the list at the end.
Yeah, I might have to come back to some of these.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, and then we're on to Ash Lale, who can
Ash has been
be.
around for a while.
Yes, I remember him being around before. Well, certainly before I was around. Before you were around too, presumably.
Yeah,
I think I might have gotten to the community before you did, but I don't have a good timeline on that.
you did. I don't think it was much longer before I did though.
And then we both won Rev Dip. It was a good time.
Great time.
Yeah, Ash. I think you have more experience with Ash than I do. I played with him in Hellenic Diplomacy one time, but I was busy, like kind of busy outside diplomacy at the time, and kind of lost track of the game, and then died.
I didn't realize he's in that one.
Not Hella Dip, but like the
Oh,
but Hellenic Diplomacy, which was before it. It was just like Greece and Ionia.
oh, okay. Um, I played.
I thought you were there.
I know I played at least one game. It was like that massive Greece variant that I'm forgetting what it was called.
I think it was just Hellenic
Um,
Diplomacy.
was that the one?
Yeah,
It was one that like Bob ran.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah. So I played with him there, and I've got some experience with him there. There's been a few other variant games where I've like encountered him, but I don't think our positions weren't like that relevant to each other's. Um, he's like on par with ice cream guy. I kind of think of them as like as like two peas in a pod here. They're both like very similar. Ash sends is a lot less press heavy with him. It's like short and sweet, but he will message every power on the board, which can get to me. That's not something that every player does. Um, but he's got like a really stoic way about of doing things. Like it's very tactic heavy. Like this is what the board says, so we should do this. It's very like he doesn't like try to like charm you, you know.
Mm,
Um, I don't know how best to like describe. Like he's definitely good. Like everyone's good. He's done a lot. Like his results are interesting. Like I know he played back in A1. He was Spain in A1C and like subbed out halfway through. And that was like his first time playing a colonial, I think. And then I remember him saying that void that he was never going to play a colonial again. But he did really well, like when he was playing that. So
mhm,
I think he can manage positions really well. I think he can form alliances really well. Compared to some of these players, he hasn't been around recently, so um, I don't know how well he'll do with most of these players. I don't think he's played a game with them before, but I do think he has the skills necessary to like back it up. And this will be the only diplomacy game that he's playing, which can't be said for everyone. So he'll have a lot of
true.
time put into it, and it'll be on a regional most likely. So I think he'll have a lot of time to like form those kind of like deep connections and like try to like coerce people to do what he wants. and kind of get a good position that way. I don't know where that translates to tiers. I
I
would
think I
say,
I I would guess A tier because great player obviously might be a little rusty um, based on games not being played in a while, and also not playing a colonial. I think is just like it's a little bit of a downgrade in terms of the default chances of a player winning the game, right? Because a strong regional start, for example, a strong regional start is going to like get you into a good spot. You're going to be able to play the mid game pretty confidently. You're going to be a strong contender to win in the late game. If you get a strong colonial start, that can be a solo in like 2 years. Like in the mid game, like 2 years into the mid game, you can just like solo be done. Um, and while I don't think that's
yeah,
likely for this game, I think taking that possibility off the board renders him with a slightly lower ceiling than the default player.
I don't think we're gonna see any colonials like explode immediately and just become these like board-wide threats. At least into like the very late game. Most of that happens because like these colonial players are able to like manipulate newer players on regionals and just doing whatever they want and translating that into like brutal attacks on them and just doing that over and over again until they become this like massive threat that just outclasses everyone. I don't think we're going to see that here, but I do think that Colonial just generally has a better chance of winning than a regional. Just because like as a Colonial can like afford to have bad things happen and not derail their game.
That's also a good point. Like Spain can lose the Philippines. It's like, that's a pretty big dot cluster, but Spain can still lose the Philippines and have a decent shot at still being the winner of the game. Um,
Yeah,
where if you're
like
like
Spain can lose that colony, then it's like it's just done for them. The war with whoever stabbed them, it's over, it's done. You don't have to worry about that person again. If you're playing Congo or something and like you get stabbed by one of your neighbors, that war never just ends. You have to like win that war,
you cannot
and
cut
it's
your
just this
losses.
grinding thing. Yeah, like one wrong thing happening to you is just like is going to define your at least like a third of your game, if not the entire game for you.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Um, so A tier,
Yeah,
great player,
that's a
but
long way of saying
th-
A tier.
that's a long way of us counting to two. We are pretty good at counting. Um,
We're the best.
all right, so we're on to Benji, who
I
I
think
have.
this one and you have more experience with.
Yeah, we played a game together where I was Russia in Imperial Diplomacy and he was Safavids, and we he started the game by trying to kill me, and then I pieced him out, and then we entered the game with him trying to kill me, and I definitely didn't throw to Tokugawa. Uh, me,
No,
I would never. I mean, I did once, but never again, guys.
never again. I closed my eyes. I looked the other way, so I don't remember anything going on there.
Yep, he's a player with like good press with like strong tactics. That's that is not as detailed as it needs to be to describe the player. Um, a lot of his press was, it all sounds friendly. Those he's a bit chatty. I think Luxon has a bigger reputation than Benji, but Benji's kind of
Yeah,
similar in like the talking and the tactics. Um, but has kind of a bigger ability to like compromise and is slightly less promiscuous with information you give him, right? That was my experience.
yeah. I think that sounds somewhat accurate. I have exactly one experience with him, and that was when that was my Toku game, like 1.4, where I was Tokugawa. He subbed into the Russia position. He was like filling in as a temporary sub there. Me and Russia were like on the way to making peace. I was like playing like stab Russia. So like we were organizing this demilitarizing thing along the border, and Benji subs in, stabs me immediately. Um, we stay at war for about a year, maybe a bit longer, and then he
Mhm.
subs out, and I go back to being at peace with the Russian player. So as my one and only experience with him, and did not exactly endear me to Benji, but I can't recognize that like the stab he made was like it was like a 3 dot stab. I took every dot he took back over like the next 2 years, but like it was a good stab. It did like recover the powers position a lot, and I think like I think he's a good player. It's everyone here, but like strong tactics, probably a bit better than the average here. Maybe not just a bit, maybe a bit more than that. The press is about average, I'd say. I mean, average for this group. Very good press, but for this group, I wouldn't like say like exceptional press. Able to make deals, able to convincingly lie to somebody, able to kind of like make those stabs without like compromising anything, I think.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know where
think
that translates on the tier list,
I
but
think the biggest criticism I would have of his game pretty much is that sometimes there's not like a broader vision. I think that, sometimes in games you really, especially as a regional, for example, you really need to have like a vision of how you're gonna accomplish your goals in the long term. Where you can't, whereas a colonial or as a bigger power, you can kind of just be like, I'll take the dots, I'll build more, I'll get more dots, it'll be fine. As some regionals, like Safavids, for example, you have to have like plans for how you're gonna break out and get the new expansion fronts, how you're gonna find more dots. And that was something that he struggled with in B1E when he was Safavids and I was Russia, especially, um, where he kind of got stalemated in the north and he got stalemated in the east by Mughals, and he didn't really properly break out into the Indian Ocean. And so that was a detriment to his game, I think, that I noticed in that at least.
yeah, I think I agree with that. You know him better, so where do you think on the tier list he should go?
Well, we have to start being mean somewhere, Salt. Not everyone can be
We
between S and
do.
B tier. So Benji,
We just shortened the tier list, just those 3 tiers, you know?
Benji, officially a C tier player.
I want to say, if you're angry with anybody and you want to take it out, if you want to take it out, take out your anger with them, and during the actual game, King of Prussia is the guy to do that
Actually,
too. I
that's not true. I'm gonna go back and find some receipts real quick. I have a new microphone, by the way, so you guys don't even have to listen to my keyboard being typed when I do it. But if I scroll back up to the link being posted, if I can see, um, it was actually the GM Stealthy who posted the tier list and specifically said also KOP, implying that I should make the tier list. So if you're
true.
angry, if you're my neighbor and you're angry at me for rating you poorly, you should protest the GM by NMRing.
Actually, I think even better, if you're like next to us and you want to raise your spot for the next tier list that we do, you should like throw to us, and then we'll like we like accept bribes here. So if you bribe us with the dots, then we will absolutely rank you as like a S tier or
Number one,
wherever you want for the next one. Yeah.
best player.
We'll do like a S tier for you if you want, if you throw us like enough dots.
On that note, on to Benny, who I do have some experience with, because in an MTV game I was England and he was Poland, and he played a pretty good Poland. Um, and I played a pretty
Best of
decent England.
friends.
Well, I kept trying to work with him, but then he kept on like stabbing me, and I kept on stabbing him. You ever had one of those? You just stab kind of back and forth.
Occasionally. Who would
And
ever do that?
I wouldn't. I would never. Of course, it got to the point where I muted his press channel and just just never tried to negotiate again, which isn't the goal when you're using press, but such is life.
Yeah. In that same game, I actually liked him quite a bit, mostly because he never attacked me, so it was pretty chill there. Solid. I say like solid tactics and solid press for everyone here. So I don't know. I should probably stop saying that, but like everyone here does have solid tactics and does have solid press. You're never gonna like no one here is like subpar press, right? Um,
Yeah.
I haven't played next to him, so I can't really say uh for sure like what their playstyle is or how good they are. But like from the results I've seen, from the games I've seen with them, I do think that they're probably one of the weaker players here. Do they have any wins? I'm not sure.
Um, I can check.
Is there a
Let's.
quick way to check that actually?
I can just pull up the Imperial diplomacy rating spreadsheet. Um,
Admin perks.
well, it's a public spreadsheet. I just have it bookmarked because, well,
Oh yeah, that I should probably pull that up too. I don't think I've ever checked my IDR
yes, Benny
once.
has one win.
Oh, which game was it?
It was like in B 1.3.1.
That's 1.3 game. We don't care.
Except we do a little bit.
A little
But yeah,
bit.
it has a win earner result in Imp which is more than I can say. But I don't have a win because I'm too good for it, right? Um,
Yeah, you know.
but yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of a similar case to Benji. Maybe a little bit of a better long term vision with a little bit less press ability. I think. Um,
I
because
think they're probably a bit too balance of powery for my taste. But I don't know. My last experience with them was when like Sam was Portugal and just like dominating the entire board, and they were right next to Portugal, like raising the alarm bells, and nobody did anything. So, um, probably not the best game to like compare it to, but I think they were one of the best players that like responded to that Portugal. Obviously, didn't like work out for them. I don't think they got anyone to like really help them out against Portugal for pretty much the entire game, but they did not just like fold like every other regional like Portugal did. I do admire them for that, and I do think in that Poland game they had with the both of us, they played a pretty. I don't want to say a cutthroat game. They did kind of care bear with the Ottomans for the majority of it.
yeah, they had some really good stabbing opportunities on Ottomans in the mid game and just didn't take advantage of that at all.
Yeah, so they'll probably try something similar here.
And if
And
you
I shouldn't say that. Anyone's gonna want like work with them and be their friend, and I'm gonna next time gonna get stabbed. But
if you're hugboxing in an
yeah,
Imp game, you belong in C tier.
I agree with that actually.
Yes. And that brings us to one of the most probably one of the most polarizing players on this tier list, which is Cassandra. Um,
I'll let you talk first on this one.
okay, I had not played next to Cassandra that much. My experience playing next to her is mostly from uh, A1C when I didn't play next to her directly, but Prof Buffalo was Ottomans, and I took over I gave him some tactical advice against her, and I took over the position for like a year or two. And that was a game where Cass like soloed completely, like blew the board apart on her Russia. And as Ottomans, I managed to make it so the Ottomans were the only neighbor of hers that didn't just get blown to bits. Um, so I think that kind of sets the stage for what I think Cass's position on the tier list is, which is if she gets going in any of these like top tier games, the momentum is just unstoppable. Like she can just crush a game and it looks effortless, and everyone around her tries to stop it and just can't. And we've seen that before. Um, and if it goes poorly, she doesn't like ever completely die from what I've noticed, but she does hold grudges a lot more than the average player, and that does kind of limit the comeback ability later on in the game, which is a bit of a negative, but juxtaposed with the extremely high ceiling, I think, if her early game goes well. So that's how I'd rate her, or at least that's how I see her.
Yeah, I I don't know how much I can say about Cass without being biased. Probably not a lot.
Salt and Cass have not gotten along in these games.
We are oil and water in these games. We just don't mix. It's been tried and it just has not worked. This might be the game. It might not be. We'll see. Um, I will say this. Her press is some of the best here. Cass consistently manages to build up this large network of information, and she's one of the best players to make a get like a mill going of like spreading information from like one area of the map to the other without like necessarily getting getting
Getting
herself caught in that.
yeah.
She's very skilled with that. She leaks press like nobody else. Probably the most prolific leaker here.
I
I don't know if I should say that, but
Well, I
I
will
do
I will
think it's
say I will say not entirely the most prolific leaguer because when I was France in A2 Aster and she was Mughals, I did give her a hint ahead of time as to my intentions with England, and England did not hear a word from her about my intention to brutally murder him.
sure France and
So,
she's bugle. There was never any like conflicting
well,
like conflicts
well, I'm
there.
just saying, you say she always leaks, but not always. There are some exceptions.
No, 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 not she doesn't always leak. That's not I don't want to say that. Like she's infinitely she's a lot more likely to leak something than most players here. She won't always leak. She won't leak it when it's like not good for her.
Don't know if you play with
Obviously, like
Lux
she
and
won't.
Salt.
Fair enough. Um, but yeah, it's like she's like really good at playing the I heard this game or X Power said that, and like that's like the tactics that I've seen her be really good with. That's like I think that's what like really works for her, and like her play style comes down to like like manipulating alliances and like getting people to fight where they otherwise wouldn't. Tactics wise, for this group, nothing really to speak of. Great tactics, but that's everyone.
I
I
I
do
will say her.
think,
I think her like the like the basic tactics. I think everyone here has down. I will say that she's kind of like me in that the creativity of the tactics can really catch people off guard and kill them. Like I'll go back to A1C, where as Russia, she decided to convoy an army like up into the north of Sweden, and that move just completely like collapsed Sweden's position. Which
okay,
is I think the creativity of the tactics is what separates people here, and she's definitely like one of the best of this group.
yeah,
Um,
that's fair. She's definitely like one of the longest running players here, maybe the most longest running player here. I know she's been around since early World Dip days.
yes,
So lots of experience, not necessarily with Imperial diplomacy, but lots of experience in general. And I do agree with what you said earlier about like her, like if she gets going, her positions get incredibly strong, incredibly fast. But on the other hand, if they don't get going, I have seen Spite ruin some of her games before. I do think is a tendency. Um, and I do think she's the most likely to throw a game out of anyone here.
yeah, because I've never thrown a game before, obviously, and that would that would never happen. I promise.
Of course
Um,
not.
so I don't know about you. I'm between A and S, because like the upside is S and the downside is down here, but the upside is really high, right?
If you want to like average it out, or I don't know how, I don't know if I probably shouldn't be the one to make the final call here.
I think for now I don't know how we're gonna rank the rest of the people on this list. I think for now I'll say top of like very top of A if we're like ordering people right, uh,
Yeah,
and then we'll see who else hits S tier. And we'll work from there.
yeah, that
So
sounds good.
next we're on to Complete Canadian, who was in the ICI, but I didn't interact with much because they were Mughals and I was like an Abyssinia who was fighting all my neighbors and trying not to die. Um,
Yeah, I didn't interact with them either. I was all the way in North America, dying the entire game.
yeah, so I'm not sure how much experience you have with them.
That
Do
was my
you?
only game with him,
Okay,
I
so
think.
we have between us basically no experience with Complete Canadian. Um, who
F
did
tier.
who did play well in the ICI, got a decent Moogles position going.
They did win.
Yeah, winning is pretty good. I will say I think in a game like that progressed like the ICI, the Moogles were an especially good position to have because when like as time like the later the game goes, basically the stronger your Moogle position gets because eventually you'll get the south of India if you're a competent player. Um, and from
Yeah,
there
it
you
helps that like Flair on Ming just got like murdered by all of his neighbors immediately.
yeah,
Um,
Flair being like immediately like punted off the cliff, definitely.
Flair did not have a great time there, I think.
No, I don't think he did.
I think he was absent from like the first day of press too, which probably hurt a lot.
Being absent from the
And
first day of press in one of these games will get you killed immediately.
yeah, and it just did not get better from there. Which I mean, Flair has been like really busy to be fair. So I won't like. I mean, when Flair like puts time into a game, Flair does pretty well. But in that game, it just he just
Facts
didn't
of
put the time
life.
into it, and that's
Yeah,
what happens.
that's what life is. Um, so without anything more to go off of, I would just throw B tier because I don't want to, because like he did win, but then there were some factors that were like, like
I would say default would be C tier with no information, but that win would put them to B tier, I think.
up you
So yeah,
go.
that
We'll put
works.
put you at the top of B tier because you actually won a competitive game, unlike Aeolus, who
Winning does count for something here.
winning real games. Okay, Ewok. My experience with Ewok is like nothing. I was just told I was soliciting suggestions for who to invite from Ice Cream Guy, and he was like, "This is the most skilled player I've ever played with, so invite him." And so I did. I don't know if you have any more
Yeah,
experience, Salt.
I'm pretty sure I've been in a game with him before. I cannot for the life of me remember which game that was. So I felt like next to no experience with him either. I remember like Ice Cream saying that he was like really good at like was it Gunboat or just like classic in general, something like
I
that, I
think so.
think.
He did
Maybe it was
he did sub
Blitz.
in for Safavids in the Ice Cream Invitational. In the middle of the game for droids. Um,
Yeah. Didn't he do like pretty well there?
yeah,
Or like
he handled the country
somewhat?
decently for a couple of years. Um, but it was once at least once Abyssinia was in the stuck in the box.
Yeah.
They got locked in the box and
Um,
killed. Tragic.
the endorsement of Ice Cream Guy does mean a lot to me though. So I'm kind of inclined. I did say no formation was default C tier, but like I don't know. Ice Cream Guy's word kind of goes for a lot, I think.
It does.
I'd
Um,
say I don't know.
we'll
Maybe
default.
maybe just B tier. I can't
We'll,
confidently say
we'll default to B
A tier
tier
without like seeing them
with
in game.
no. We'll default to B tier with no with very little experience between us, but also with Ice Cream's word, which is worth as much as winning one of these games. Keep that
Yeah,
in mind. We're this is just the objective ratings of the committee here, guys. Um,
I agree. Oh, Ezio's next.
Ezio. I think that this is probably one of the easiest S tiers we'll see. Um,
Yeah,
it's just not like the press plus the
it's not really a
tactics,
question.
all the tricks he uses. It's a bit much. Ezio, you need to calm down and try to think about how other people feel before you know
The
do
rest
that.
of us would like a chance to win, so
Yes,
cool it.
we would, Ezio, and you need to really think about other people's feelings before you stab them. Um,
Yeah, just like think long and hard about that, and if it's specifically me, if you just like I don't know, go away, throw like a dot or two, I think that we can work something out.
we'll set up a
Maybe we'll give you
demilitarized zone
a
on the
shout
border.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll shout out your small YouTube channel, Diplostrats. Um,
Yeah. I don't know if anyone's here even like heard of that before.
yeah, it's a pretty small YouTube. I don't know. I kind of only see it when they post their links. It definitely doesn't show up on my recommended. Um, all right. Yeah, Ezio, like I said, like one of the strongest, probably the strongest combination of tactics and press that we get in here. Between all these players, um,
Yeah.
there is not much that you can do better in this game than Ezio does. Um,
Yeah, Azzy is probably like peak. Maybe not peak, but like he's very good.
he's he's
Top of the list for
amazing
this
tactics and
group.
press with slightly worse long term instincts than me, I think. Um, but that's
Yeah.
not but that's not saying much. So, um, and then we're on to Ironside Guard, who I played with once. Once, I'm perusing my brain. Yeah, we'll say once for now.
He did win Fog of War. I know that.
Okay, one Fog of War. He won. I played B1.1 Nemesia with him, B1.1N. And he won that game, but he also received 3 throws in that game. So, you know, your mileage may vary.
Yeah, I mean, I was next to him in the Fog of War game, and we were at war for the entire time because I kept saying I would stop uh, attacking him, then I never did. But like very, very skilled player, I think. Handled it quite well. Got a pretty brutal stab off on Britain, and then Britain subbed out. I mean, it was and they were like the most confident British played, but like they subbed out. He convinced the sub that they were totally chill, and then he got that sub to attack me and then stabbed the sub again. So like
The classic,
I don't know. I don't have a lot of
that's a classic maneuver. Someone subs in and you tell a sub, "Hey, we're chill." I just the
I was
previous guy was
so
unreasonable.
mad.
Um,
I was so mad
but
whenever I heard that.
but but
I
now
was like
that
working with England.
but now that you're here,
It's fine. I'm not mad about it. Totally not mad.
but now that you're here, we can really work together pretty well. And it'll be really nice.
Of course. When
Um,
would anybody ever stab a sub?
exactly. So yeah, got decent tactics, decent press. Got Imtip win under his belt. I guess wins with you count Fog of War in that as well. Um, I think that the ceiling is in this type of game is a bit lower. I think that he doesn't really have experience in this type of grouping, which kind of also might cause some hiccups early on, right? Um,
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I think you're thinking maybe C tier.
Either C or
Uh,
B.
I
I
think
mean,
I don't know. I think we gotta be like a little bit mean. I think Benji is pretty good. I don't think he's better than Benji, if that makes sense.
and he goes in between. If I can, uh, uh, okay, you know what? There we
There
go.
we go.
I know how to use this app very well. Okay, then we're on to Kevin. Who my experience playing with Kevin was the Ice Cream Invitational, and that's it.
He was the Austria player that won that, right?
He was Poland. The Austria
Okay,
player in the Ice
yeah.
Cream Invitational was Ambrosius, who we
Same power.
yeah yeah the same thing. Those European countries, you can kind of mix them up,
Yeah,
whatever.
and they all blend together.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Um,
I don't think I've actually played a game with him.
well,
Well,
you
I
not played near
Ice
him at
Cream
least.
obviously, but I don't think I've ever played next to him.
Um, yeah, he's like kind of a little bit sparse in that sense, I think. Um, he did end up didn't win in the Ice Cream Invitational, but he ended up as the highest non-winning power on Poland. With the only downside being
Yeah,
that
England's like
his
cut him out, I think.
yeah, his colony in Africa did die, but his colony in Africa died because the Portugal player thought, you know what, let me make an alliance with Mali, and then was all surprised when eventually their colony got eaten. Odd how that worked out.
Yeah, pro tip, never make a alliance with Molly. Just don't
Now
do it.
nobody else can anymore after that.
The reason why Molly was banned.
Gone. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think that it's a pretty. I will say he was buffed in that game by having the chaos of the Diplostrats Russia next to him.
Yeah.
Which, if you haven't watched the Diplostrats videos on how that went, you should. Yeah, like we said, shout out to that small Diplostrats channel.
Yeah, I've only like a few hundred people watching their videos, something like that.
Only 5,000 subscribers. 5,000, right, these days? Yeah, sounds about right.
I think it's like 10 now, right? Might be
I
more.
I'm bad at counting. Um,
Let me
but
just
yeah,
check real quick.
um, I think that his chances are decent.
10K. Okay.
10 now. Okay, yeah,
Like basically nothing compared to us, you know?
yeah. I mean, I'm like basically president of America at this point. So that should
Yeah.
give you a real idea of how popular I am. Um, yes. With little experience and without a win in the ICI, we could be mean to Kevin.
I don't stab me if I'm next to you. I think this is a C tier.
Yeah, we'll slap him right in there in the middle. Um,
I think that works, yeah.
left to right. Okay.
And if I am next to you, this is all King of Prussia's
We're no,
idea.
we're just making people underestimate you. I want to delay ranking myself until the end of the list. I don't know about you.
I think we should delay both of us to the
Yeah, well,
end.
we delay us to the end. We're special. Which brings
We
us
are
to King
special.
Red, who I have played with I played with him in 1862 a couple of times. The most notable time was the most recent one where I was Union and he was North American France. So he had like a spot in Mexico, um, where there was like I was Union. So between us there was the CSA and sometimes there was Mexico between us, but sometimes there wasn't. I'll have an AAR on that out relatively soon.
Whenever I win.
Whenever the game ends, we'll have
One of these days.
yeah, we'll have an after action report on 1862 out once the game ends. But that's my experience with him, and I think he's a solid player. In this group, obviously, but also that um, he didn't quite take enough risks. I don't think, or like the right risks to really challenge in 1862, where the tactics were good and the press was good, but I think the long term strategy kind of suffered a little bit, because he would like he stabbed Columbia a couple of times questionably, where the dots weren't really going to be keepable and where Columbia didn't really have any opposition in the area, and he never really tried to take advantage of Mexico having some incoherence in their strategy, right? And so never really stabbed
Yeah.
them properly where you really need to have a chance. Um, and that's
I
kind of
think
my experience.
he stabs people, but like they're good stabs, and he does pull them off well, but he doesn't really have a vision of like what comes next and what comes after. Like it's back in like Congress dip, which I don't think you were a part of, but
No, I was busy at the time.
we were neighbors, and like he stabbed me. It was a good stab, like it worked. He got a bunch of dots off me, maybe like I don't know, 34 at the end. And then like later on, it's like begging me for peace. Maybe not. That's not the right word, but like he was like asking for peace, like in return, like trying to make some kind of like some like deals work. And like, yeah, you should be talking to people that you just stabbed, and you should try and get some kind of deals with them. But like, it kind of came off that like he didn't know how to pivot the position rather than trying to. I do think he was trying to like manipulate me into a position where he could like dot me for more, but I don't think he kind of knew really well what to do with all the gains he had and like what to do with the position. So I think he's got really good short term uh, like tactics and press, but the long term vision, I agree with you that is a little bit lacking. The overall, like I think the press is really good. He's got a nice flexible press style where like I've seen him do these long text walls. I've also seen him press more like a Ash, where it's like very short in to the point,
Mhm.
and like either he pulls off either of those like very well, and he's pretty convincing when he wants to be. But like sometimes I just get the feeling like he just doesn't know like how to pivot very well, and like the long term planning isn't really like as developed as some of these players, I think.
Yes, and I think that all together is C tier. Because if you don't have good long term strategy, you're going to have issues. winning a game like this where you need to really have an idea of what, like, it's like steps A, B, C, D. Like, you need to have things lined up where you're not just stabbing somebody for dots, you're stabbing them for dots. And because once you're done stabbing them, you can have a way to get more dots somewhere else or from them.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. We're gonna have to start being nicer to people, I think. I did
Well,
not expect C tier to be the most filled tier.
well, that's life. Them's the breaks, pal. Um,
Yeah.
yes, I think next up is KMP, who I think I have more experience playing with him than you do, but you still have some from 1862, right? Like
What
peripherally.
power was he in 1862? Remind me.
This time he was Columbia.
Nope.
Let's see.
For
Before
context, I was like I was Europe, France.
you just ignored him. Wow,
I I simply just I'm very very bad at making and keeping up with cross-board comms, and he was in another continent. I don't think we talked the entire game. Um,
that's a good sign.
so
Yeah.
I'll leave this one to you, I think.
Yes. So I've played with him a couple of times in 1862. Basically, every time I see him play, he's like pulling out like either winning positions or really close to winning positions. So like so the first time I played with him, back last year, the first time I played 1862, where I was Union and he was CSA, we had a bit of war and he won, because England to my north was dead set on killing me for no real reason because he didn't get any dots out of it. But I digress. And then he kind of evolved that into a very very nearly winning position. He did get tied, which in 1862 mechanics are complicated. Basically, he came really close to a solo and then failed in that first game. And then in this game that I just played with him recently, that I really paid attention to, where I was Union and he was Columbia, um, he did quite well and won South America as well. And it was not really ever in doubt, in my opinion, where it just always seemed to me, at least, that
Yeah.
he was the preeminent position there. Even as like other powers rose and to challenge him, he still like would just slap them down without too much issue. Um, and I think that the other factor is that he's played next to players of like not in like games like this, I don't think, um, but next to players of this caliber quite a bit between 1862 and I think the no pun. Is he not no pun? Am I?
No pun diplomacy. I mean, right.
Maybe I'm blind.
Which games of those has he been in? I mean, he's probably been in those. I don't think I've been one with him though.
I want to say I've seen him under other places being like quite good, but he mixes like really solid tactics, like some pretty like decent creativity with obviously really strong understandings of the basics, with flexible press that don't really make you think that he's a threat. Like kind of similar to Ambrosius, where you don't realize until it's just a little bit too late that maybe you shouldn't have been offering him so much support in the game, and that maybe you should have been trying to cut him back a little bit instead. Um, and also, the icon is misspelled. This is not my fault. This is stealthy. You can't blame me for this. Yeah, KMP.
So, what tier are you thinking there? I think it sounds like B tier to me. Maybe
I
maybe
think
A tier. I could see either.
I was going into this thinking A tier because I think that his like ceiling is quite high and that he kind of he knows how to manipulate a board, right? Where like a lot, like kind of some of the best manipulation of the board that I've seen in these games. Um,
Mhm.
so that's where I would lean is A tier. But I could see B
All
as
right.
well.
I'll trust your judgment on this.
Leave
I don't
them
have
be
any
in the know.
experience with him, so
Now we're on to Luxon. Um,
Luxon's fun.
Luxon is fun, but is Luxon going to win this game?
I will say he's doing surprisingly well in the Flareon Horde invitation. Did you say surprisingly well? Because it's Luxon for one, but he's been doing these like meme convoys for like since the beginning of the game, and he's like one of the contenders to win right now. He's probably going to get it, but um, how many how many wins does this Luxon have under his belt? Actually, I don't know.
An imp tip
Yeah.
or just generally? I'm going to control F and then I'm going to act like I memorized it. Luxon has won, I think this adds up to 2 imp tip games, which is a good
Are we
tally.
counting the Flareon Horde one or not?
I don't, wait, let me see.
It's not over, so
Yes.
it won't show up.
Oh, well, I don't know. Then if we count that new one, then it's 3, I guess. Um,
Okay.
so he's pretty good. I don't think he has much experience in games like this, which is true for a lot of the people here. He kind of mixes, in terms of playstyle, he mixes like pretty good tactics with this really loose, freewheeling press style, and he's quite willing to spread information around, um, which can bite you
Yeah.
in games like this. That can bite.
It also
uh,
works. It depends on like who. Leaking either works really, really well or doesn't do anything at all, in my experience.
yes. Well, or it can backfire if you do it poorly. Um,
Yeah.
I have killed people for leaking before. So don't.
Yeah. If it
So if you hear stuff
gets
from me, don't
back
leak
to
it.
them, then it just
If you
doesn't
hear
work.
stuff from me, don't leak it, guys.
I mean, we're we're not really threats here, so nobody would want to like take us out, I think.
That's true. That's true. We're friendly. Very
Yeah.
friendly people.
We're just Care Bears.
Exactly. So Luxon, I don't know where you'd want to put him on the tier list. How likely do you think
Oh
Luxon is
no.
to register a win here?
I think the odds like for every individual here are like I don't know pretty low like I don't know let's say like 10% baseline, you know, like Ezio's is gonna be is gonna be higher obviously, but like I don't think anyone's even like cracking like 20% odds to win just because of how fluid diplomacy is in general, and we don't know like the power like what power everyone is yet, so there's still like a lot that like hasn't been determined. But I think Luxon's like fundamentals are really, really good. I think the press style works in his favor a lot. It like catches people off guard, but like in a good way. It makes you like want to trust him, I think. And he's
Yeah.
very good at like turning that into an alliance where he can then stab his whoever he's been working with. I have seen him take deals that like maybe weren't the best for him. And I have seen him been like caught off guard by things, like get stabbed where like maybe he should have seen it coming. But I mean, who here hasn't? Anyone that's like played diplomacy for a long time is going to have moments like that. So I don't want to count that against him. But I don't think he's like Ashlale material, you know?
Yeah. That's a good way
I,
of putting it.
yeah, I think like B tier is good.
Luxon, if you're listening, then you need to know you are only a B tier player.
Yeah, and you know, if you want to get higher up, higher up on these rankings, we do accept bribes. Dots are the best way to bribe us with.
Yes. And then we're on to Meepster. Who I think you have more experience playing with him than I do still, Salt. If I had to guess, do
Yeah,
you?
I played with him back in A1B. He was Spain, I was Ottomans, and like I mean, I stabbed him pretty hard, and then we kind of chilled out, and I stabbed him again pretty hard, and yeah, he didn't have a great time there, I think. And
Mhm.
in ICI, he was Japan, and like we kept trying to like work together, but like I was getting stabbed by all my neighbors, and he had other issues in Asia, so just never really like materialized. Um, I do think he's probably the most Careberry player here. I think he I have seen in him a tendency to like those like big like explosive plays where like I think if like there's a ranking of like who's most likely to stab somebody year one, he's probably towards the top end of that. But he's like he's very much an alliance player, I think. He'll like make one solid ally and stick with that. Like all good alliance players, he's very good at like hiding who of the people he's talking to are actually persons and like stick with the entire game. Like you won't really know until he like makes a move who his like one ally is. But I do think he is a very much a Care Bear, I think, and he will do that if given the chance. And I do think that hurts his odds rather than helps it.
Care bearing is bad, folks. He did win the ICI, but he also received like I think 12 or so dots from Ice Cream Guy,
It
who
was a
was
massive throw.
yeah, like in no like the amount of throwing where it's like, did you really win that game? Like, did you?
I think that throw like sparked like all the debates on it. Like there were other throws, but like that was like the worst one by far, I think.
Quite egregious, Ice Cream Guy. Quite egregious.
You wonder why ice cream's not here. I'm just joking though.
He's busy.
Yeah.
He's busy sweeping up the mess from all the throws he's made, all the crap he's thrown on the ground.
He's been throwing so much. There's just so much of a cleanup job now.
Well, it sounds like you want to make me your C tier.
Do you have
Are
any
you?
experiences then? Is there anything you want to add?
Not much off the top of my head. No, I think you've just landed next to him more often than I have.
Yeah, I would say C tier is a good place to put him. And if you disagree, then throwing me dots is the best way to express that.
Yes. And so we are on to Osseous.
Um, I don't know how best to describe Osseous. What do you think about him?
This is only partially due to the profile pictures and the skeleton theme, but kind of like Ambrosius, but not quite as good. Is that like a nice way to say it?
No, I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's like
I
there's like the good press
yeah,
style and the steady press and the good tactics and the good long term vision. But like when you look over at him, you're like, oh, he's doing decently, rather than, wait a second, what? How did that position get so good all of a sudden?
yeah, yeah. That's a really good way to put it. Like he's good, but I can't really describe anything he does as like exceptional. Um, he's very much like I think his press is by far what he does best. I really enjoy his press compared to a lot of players. I've only landed next to him I think like one time, maybe two. I'm more familiar with him as a GM than as a player, but I
Yes.
have played with next to him before, and he's got a solid head on a soldier, but he usually ends up in like these like mediocre positions where like they're good, but they're not like winning.
Yeah, I know the type of positions where it's like you're not gonna die. You're gonna have a pretty good total of dots, but you don't quite have that oomph to get up there and win.
Yeah, like 50% towards your win con, and like it's hard to get higher.
Yeah.
That's kind of the positions that I find uh him in, kind of. But I can't help but like you can't help but like it whenever he presses with you. Like it's very very good press.
You
I
don't
don't
want
know.
to stop.
I don't want to say C tier, but I don't know if I can like say he's overall like consistently better than the C tier crowd.
Yeah, one of those times where it's like you just kind of got to throw somebody in and hope for the best.
Yeah,
We'll have to adjust this a
I
little bit.
feel bad about that one. I
We're gonna
I, I feel like genuinely bad about it.
like he should be higher, but at the same time, it's like, do you like are the winning
It's hard to like
like
back that up.
like are the winning chances of this game higher than like significantly higher than people in this row? Like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Feel free to prove us wrong, but also please don't prove us wrong. We're right.
yeah. I mean, if you
You
throw
know.
us dots, we'll put you in like a double S tier or something like that.
Yes. And so we've reached Penguin, um, who has won the second highest amount of Imperial diplomacy games after
How
Aeolus.
many is that?
Oh, it's like 3 or 4.
Two?
It's like 3 or 4. I'm just looking at the IDR
Crazy.
chart.
Yeah. I've seen people talk up Penguin a lot. I don't think I've ever actually played next to him though. Um,
I did. Um, I was Russia. He was Tokugawa. He stabbed me once, and then I still threw the game to him because he treated me the best of all my neighbors, which
that'll do it.
admittedly is not saying much because the rest of my neighbors were like I wanted to like murder all of them except maybe Benji, who I only wanted to like cut off both his legs. So
It's just like a little bit, you know, like
yeah,
a. I mean, does he really need legs?
exactly. He can play diplomacy from a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Um, there's nothing wrong with that. I think Penguin, he mixes like some nice, good tactics with some quite friendly press, and a good long-term vision where he sees what has to be done. So like we had a pretty good press rapport in B1E. Like I said, where I was Russia, he was Tokugawa, but he still stabbed me at the right time, like right before I was gonna be able to prevent him from ever stabbing me. He got in there and took 3 of my
Hmm.
dots. And then he backed down when I started threatening him with permanent death war, which I, I was really considering. Um, until he backed down, and then I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Um,
Keep in mind, this was when Russia was still like really, really bad.
I I
um,
started that game fighting a 5 versus 1 coalition. Actually 6
Russia
versus. It was
moment.
actually, I think it was actually, was it 6?
Like
No,
Stats,
it was
Poland,
it was
Ottoman,
5
Sweden. I don't know who
Mughals.
else.
Yes, it
Yeah.
was. So in like in geographical order, it was Sweden, Poland, Ottoman, Safavids, Mughals were all coordinating against me, and then I also picked a fight with Cheng. So you
The
know,
funny thing is, like Russia, like usually won the fights with Qing while losing everywhere else.
I murdered
It's
Chang.
hilarious.
Luckily, I murdered Chang fast enough that game that I didn't lose the fight in the West. But the ceiling was just capped by the coalition and by the constant fighting in the West. It was annoying. One of them games.
Just, just classic Russia games.
Yep.
I don't think I'll play Russia again for a long time after that.
It's not terrible. It's just the positioning. Like you have to, you know,
Yeah,
you can get it
I
done.
do think Russia is significantly improved as a power compared to what it was.
Yes. I don't know. I think Penguin probably. I don't know how much experience you have playing with him. Not as much as me, presumably.
I just don't. I played like next to him in like one game, but like even then there like wasn't a lot of press between
Yes.
us.
I think his case is kind of similar to Aeolus. Um, in that he's won more imtip than Aeolus, but B, I've also seen him win more imtip than Aeolus. The downside, of course, is the lack of experience in the stacked boards, which is the case for probably half the lobby, actually, funnily enough.
Yeah. It's hard to get these games together where like everyone is like skilled. So usually in Imperial diplomacy, like you end up with these boards where like there's like a handful of like skilled players all scattered around and surrounded by like newer players, and whoever wins is like obviously like skilled players are win and like they do well, but like it's a lot of skill comes from like how well you're able to manipulate the newer players around you into doing what you want, and that's how like you see these positions explode and like dominate games. And I don't think we're gonna see that here. Like a lot of these players like cut their teeth on like getting newer, less experienced players to do things that an experienced player would see through immediately.
Yes. My response is yes. That is absolutely the case.
Yeah, so
Um,
like we'll see how well that pans out because like some of the tactics these players have been using just aren't going to cut it here.
and on that note, B tier, but in front of Aeolus, because Penguin has one more Imperial diplomacy than Aeolus has.
If we're doing that, put Meepster behind Osseous, I think.
Like
And
this.
remember, I would put Benji in front of Osseous, I
Okay.
think.
We're gonna have to put a
And
couple of
if
people in D
anybody's
tier.
mad, just like
We're
throw me dots and I'll shut up.
Salt. We're gonna need to put a couple of people in D tier just to complete the tier list. So be ready for that.
I already feel bad about saying C tier though. I don't know who to put in D tier.
We're gonna
I
have
don't
to
know.
figure it
I
out.
don't think I can.
We're gonna have to put
It
somebody in
feels
D
too
tier.
mean.
It does. We just put Lux in there, kind of. You
Uh,
know. I'm sure he'd appreciate that.
yeah, lots of them. It'll be kind of yeah. It's funny.
um. All right.
He'll get it.
So we're on to Starcat. Who kind of I have some experience with her. So I played as Ayutthaya in a game where she played Ottomans and like murdered her neighbors, but it was kind of the classic Imtip thing of all the neighbors being inexperienced and like somewhat uninterested, right? Where an experienced player is like, "Oh, this guy's this person's number one. We need to coalition to stop them." Most of her
Yeah,
neighbors were just like, "Oh no, Ottomans is taking my dots." But I mean, she does good press, so let's let that keep happening, anyways.
she's so nice. You know, you
Yeah,
just got he's got to like let her. You know.
yeah, exactly.
God, that's
Um,
bringing me back to like 1.4 with Sam. It's like the exact same thing going on there. Sorry, go on.
Salt is traumatized. Um,
A little bit.
where I think it's a press heavy style. It's a meme heavy style, kind of similar. We don't have L because she's busy. Because it turns out that hosting Carnage takes some time. Face to face Imperial
Who
diplomacy,
would have
get that
thought?
ready. Um, of course, I have time to burn, so I'm still here.
Of
But she
course.
has like a real job where I just kind of I don't have a job with my degree yet. It's tragic. But Starcat, yeah, like press heavy, kind of flirting heavy, meme heavy style. I'm not sure how well it's going to translate to this type of game where press rapports are going to be more substantive, I feel like, than style, right?
I think L's press style specifically holds her back a lot. I think L is a very good player whose press style hinders a lot more than it helps. And I haven't pressed with a Starcat at all. I think she's like the only player here I haven't like pressed with once. But if it's like that, I think it's gonna hurt a lot more than anything else.
Yes. Where it'll I guess it depends on whether she also adjusted. We'll see. Unlike Elle, she's new to these experience games. So there may be some differences in the press, which we can't really account for yet. I was not paying particularly close attention to the tactics in the game I played with her, but it didn't
I mean,
look.
probably just assume good
I
tactics. I
mean,
mean, everyone else here has pretty good tactics.
tactics be good, not great, such as life. Um,
Yeah, I can't rank Starcat in good faith, I think. So I'll go with your pick.
well, we're gonna be very creative and put Starcat in C tier, guys. Right there, I
Now
think
you
is a good
saw
spot.
a D tier.
We'll get D tier after we finish the tier list. I feel like
Who goes to D tier later?
who goes in D tier? Stay till the end to find out. Um,
Sub like and subscribe to see who finds out who goes to D tier.
yes. So that brings us to Tanglewood, who was I think the top winner of the Ice Cream
The
Invitational.
board topped. Yeah.
Board top Ice Cream Invitational. Strong press, strong tactics. Um, I think that winning the last Ice Cream Invitational as board top, actually second board, second board top, not exact board top, but
Wait,
second.
who
Wait,
was the
no,
first?
wait, no, they were board top by
It's been
1.2%.
so
Never
long.
mind.
It's
Right?
been
Were
so
they?
long.
Oh no, there was
I
never
need
a
to
final
like
scoreboard made. 1 second.
really? Oh my gosh.
I can't believe they would do
I
this to
mean,
us.
they were England, right?
Yes,
It's like, oh no, it was like Mapuche who board taught. It was just Tasaka, I think.
we'll get to that.
Like barely.
Um, yes. So,
Yeah,
but
they were
second
second.
board top, the biggest colonial, killed all the other colonials or watched them die. um, I think that probably earns S tier, just like by default. Like has experience, played
We want to
well.
default winning ICI to S tier. That's a little bit of a leap, I think. I
Well,
don't
it's
know.
not.
They're
Well, it's
not
not
like
deep. It's not default winning. I see it at S tier, either S or A. I think for Tanglewood, but it's a combination of the good press, the good tactics, the experience, obviously having played, the fact that the win wasn't supported by throws. I think is important, where it was like a win and not like oh my neighbor just decided to give me like half of their dots. Yay, Meepster.
mm,
Sorry.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel
Okay, well you gotta
I,
elaborate, Salt.
ICI is like the only game I know Tanglewood from, and like I was Athabasca, they were England. Like we were talking a little bit, but not like a ton. I don't know. I feel like it's a little much. Like I remember that they were like early on is like a will they won't they between England and France. It was like there was like a kind of yep, like they were both saying they were gonna fight each other and then they never did. I think England they definitely played that game very, very well, but I don't think it was like exceptional, you know? Like I don't know. I maybe I'm just like jealous or something. I could be like completely talking shit here, but I think I don't know. I think like I don't think that was an S tier game, you know? And I
Well,
don't have any other games to draw on.
yeah. I mean, I
Like
think A
they
tier is
lost
probably.
every other colony. They won solely off of the Caribbean and North America.
Although I don't think you can hold losing Africa against them. Um,
No.
that yeah, losing Africa in
I mean it was Mali to be fair, so
it
I
was
won't hold
it
that
wasn't
against
and it
them.
wasn't just Mali. It was Mali where Portugal tried to be their ally,
Yeah.
which is like every other colonial loses their dots, and then Portugal does too.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, your game was like pretty good, but like it's more of a North Atlantic game. Like they don't have. I'm looking at the final map to be. Like they have Nantes and Ghent off of like, and I guess
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam too off of like the Northern Europe, and the rest is all like former Portuguese and Spanish dots off the coast. I don't know. They're a solid player. They're a good player. I'm not like saying they're bad or anything, or that the win was absolutely deserved. Great, they great skill. Like they definitely like played that game well. I don't think that was an S tier game. I think it's like between A and B tier here.
I think we defer to A because of the win generally, and because they were the only colonial that survived in any capacity in that game.
That's fair.
Every other
Yeah.
colonial like got murdered. Like
Yeah.
the Dutch and French survived, but on one dot each, and that was it.
Nah, they're basically dead. We don't call that surviving, I think.
The Netherlands survived in Timor, and the French survived in Madrid,
God, yeah.
which is like
What a game.
really bad. Um, and that brings us to Tefra, who won the Far East Asia map on 1862 recently.
Yeah, oh, yeah, they played China again. It's kind of funny because like this is their second time playing China. They played China the last World Championship of 1862 against me, and like there's like this gigantic coalition after me, and like I convinced Tefra specifically to like do something at like the very last turn, and like that action along with like another thing, something I just convinced Spain to do. So like the both of those like combined to, like give me the win that I got. I think Tefra was like the second like closest to the win in that theater. I think that's why they played China again, just to like get the win that I denied them. But like they are a very skilled player. I've seen them in like they were in a colonization diplomacy too. They were the Mapuche sub who like subbed into like that doomed position and like brought it back to like a really good spot.
Mhm.
So like they absolutely can play pretty well. Again, that like bringing that back was like based almost solely on like manipulating lesser skilled players to do what they want, which is what almost every experienced player here has done to like get invited here in the first place. Um, But like honestly, like their tactics are really good. Like their press, like it's very nice. I think it comes across very reasonable, like calm, kind of measured is probably the word I would use for it.
Yeah,
But
I think that checks out. I can't share details about my press in 1862 because the game's not over yet, but
I mean, both of you are like gone, so I think you probably can.
well, I could, but I want to save it for the after action report because
Fair.
you will find it very funny.
I'm looking forward to it then. I will try to win that game fast as I can for you.
There you go. Being recorded on September 27th, folks. So the game might be over by then, by when this video
We'll
comes out.
see.
Hopefully, maybe not. Actually, probably not.
It'll end one of these days. It'll
Eventually.
come.
So yeah, I mean, I think she's a she, right? She. I want to say she.
I think it's a he.
He. I just hear
Let me
Tephra
just
and my brain goes
I,
to.
I think I like voice chat with him before. It's a he.
Okay, it's a he. Okay,
The profile doesn't say, but like I'm 90% sure.
okay. Wait a second. We can just ping them in Discord. At Tephra.
Are they online?
I wonder how does my keyboard show up on.
No.
Well, it doesn't show up on your end, but on the
Oh
recording,
yeah. It might.
it's hard to tell because I don't have it tabbed in at the same time. Well, let me know in the comments if the keyboard shows up when I type, folks.
Comment for more keyboard reveals. Definitely not recording a video.
Okay, the keyboard does show up a bit, but I think it's quieter than it was before, so that is a good sign.
What tier would you say that is? I'm between B and C
Um,
myself.
Probably the safest tier is C for now, kind of
All right.
on this level, but
I
like top
had did
tier.
how many wins? Do we want to check that real quick before we make a final call?
And I don't think they've really played much game tip.
All right. Let me just say C tier then.
Let's see.
Who's next? Is that Grug?
That is Grug. Um,
I think Grug is the person I have the second least amount of press with ever in this game.
Well, luckily, I played next to Grug in the Eshkim Invitational. I was Abyssinia and they were Ottomans. And it did not leave me with the highest opinion of their play, I think, because they just randomly stabbed me for no reason and for basically no gain and got murdered by all their neighbors, except Russia, who wasn't murdering anybody. And I guess he did actually fight Cassandra, who was Spain, in the Mediterranean to a decent standstill. But that was also kind of a side effect of Cassandra fighting France and Portugal.
Yeah, that would do
Which,
it.
yeah, fighting all your neighbors tends to work out poorly. And I also think that he's kind of debuffed by the time zone because he's Australian,
Oh, true.
which is just
Ashblail is from there too, so I might have to revisit that.
um yeah, but I think the time zone is a decently big debuff. King Red is also from that same time zone, is my understanding,
Yeah,
which
he
is
is.
he is. So it's a press debuff.
He's already in C tier now. We don't need to move him any lower.
Yeah, Grug, it's like solid practice, solid tactics, solid press, nothing special. But nothing special plus Australia time zone. Well, that's not the greatest mix now, is it, Salt?
No, do we want to? I don't know. Or do you want to be mean?
Let's start with C tier, and then we'll see who we're putting in D tier later, I think.
Sounds good.
Sorry, Grug,
I'll
but we'll see.
It's just wasn't me. I just wanted to make it absolutely clear it was not me.
No, because you wanted to start in D tier.
No, I don't I not explicitly mention D tier.
But as diplomacy players, we do tend to
I
read between the lines a little bit.
the words D tier never left my mouth.
Or so you say.
Anyways, who's next?
Um, well, the last player besides us two we have is Tasnica.
Tasman is
Um,
really good. I think they've won twice, right?
yeah, they board topped the ICI. It's solid tactics, but it's just really good press, basically. Um,
Yeah, exceptional.
yes, where you're like, oh, I want to work with that person, and they stab you, and it's like, but I can't be too upset. That's they're still pressing, they're pretty nice. I get why they did it. You know, it's that type of diplomacy.
Yeah, I think Tasnica makes alliances really, really well, and they also have some of the best cross-board press I've ever seen.
Yes, that is one of the bigger things. Is just really good cross-board press on their end. Which is good. Cross-board press pretty useful, believe it or not.
Yeah, I haven't played next to him, unfortunately. I really want to one of these days just to get like a better feel for how they play, because I don't know, I don't like remember Tasnica making like any. I haven't like experienced that for myself. I've only seen it from like a half a board away. But I can tell that like they're a very skilled player. I've seen them work without seeing how they go about it. So I know he's really good. I don't know exactly what makes him good, if that makes sense.
Yes. That being said, that's either A or S tier, I think. Um,
I'd say I don't know. It might be an A S tier, I think.
I think it's an S tier. Board topping the previous game, plus like the really good press, plus the good tactics.
Yeah.
The good
Yeah,
vibes.
I like that.
Vibes are useful.
Vibes are good.
So do you want to reorganize the tier list before or after we slot ourselves into it?
Um, let's slaughter ourselves first, I think. I think the viewers have been waiting long enough.
Okay. Well, I could executive decision make you go first.
Wow.
I
Well, we
could.
could do this as like, do you want to have it as like you rank me, then I rank you?
I think that no matter what, we probably are on the same level of this. Like, aren't we?
I think A tier is like a good spot for us.
Yeah, I think that's
Me, I
about.
don't know if I can say S tier. Like I've won. Are we counting number of wins here? Because I have 3 wins.
Um, I mean, I don't have many wins in IpTip. I've I keep
Yeah, I don't know.
the
I would
problem is
put you A tier, I
my
think.
ImpTip. Yeah, I'll slot you up here. The problem is I experiment in my ImpTip games, and I'm like, I bet I could make this new tactic work, and then it's like, well, it doesn't work that well, does it? Um,
I think I've seen people target you specifically because you are king of Prussia. And I don't think that's something I've seen happen to almost any other player. So I think
I
that's like a unique thing that like hurts your games.
when I played as Russia in that B1E game, I know that the Ottoman players specifically attacked me for my name, and I think
Yeah,
Sweden that was a big factor in Sweden attacking me as well, and Safavids, who was Benji,
and that
they
wasn't
just
the
left.
only game too, I think.
Oh yeah, no, I remember in the game where I was Amara and Ironside was England, that Ironside used my name to get the French player to be like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not going to listen to any of their. That's King of Prussia. He can't be trusted. England's not going to win. I can trust England. I can't trust this King of Prussia guy. And then they're all surprised when England wins. It's like, well, you were right, King of
I
Prussia.
think like
Yes,
specifically what tends to happen is that like you do really well early on, and then people like see that you're like first place and then all like dogpile you.
it's a great time.
I'm sure.
Yep. Um.
Um,
Yep.
yeah, that's just what I've noticed at least.
You have a way to end up with dots that you really shouldn't have and keep them longer than you really should.
I like dots.
Yes, I can tell. That's why whenever we're neighbors, I always have to have an army on duty to bounce you whenever you try to snipe one.
I don't think you need that. I you had the thing where like you could like predict whenever I would attack you, right?
Yes, that is
I'm pretty sure the
I
answer
still
was Salt would never.
totally, yeah. I still find it funny
Yeah.
how I can just read the position on our board and be like, oh, Salt's gonna stab me here, better bounce him. It's like
I don't recall a time where I would just, dot somebody for little reason. That doesn't
I
sound like
still
me.
I still remember the what was it was Flair's like Northern Hemisphere map. Was it Cold War or was it modern
Yeah.
day? One of those. Not Cold War, but it was the modern
Yeah.
day one. Where
Like World War III, I think.
I was Germ yeah, yeah. I was Germany and you were Turkey and I bounced your stabs twice in that game, I think. It's not
Yeah.
twice or three times.
I stabbed you 3 times. You saw the first 2 attempts coming and like you defended those perfectly. And then like the third time I think I stabbed you and like I got like you were like already in trouble with like Russia. I think
I
like
was dead.
somebody like
I
maybe
was fighting
France.
all my neighbors
Yeah.
already. It was not a good time. I
And
got one of
then
my
like
stabs
I
leaked by
made the third
Japan.
attempt.
I had a brutal
Yeah.
stab line on Russia, and I tried to get Japan to join, and I learned a lot about stabbing in that game. Specifically, nobody knows when I'm gonna stab now, except my greatest allies, who I always tell. Um,
That game was so painful for me. I kept trying to like break out of
the turkey box.
Turkish
Yeah,
box. Yeah, I like the only feasible way for me to do that for like the entire like early game was like through you. At least
yeah.
from like how that game was going for me. So I just kept trying. It just kept like
It's like nope.
not working. So I stuck on like 4 to 5 dots and it just never got any higher until I like finally managed to like take a dot off of you.
Yeah, you just sat there on the corner for half the game. It was a great time. Great
It was
time.
so painful. I like my voice in that game was full of just me complaining about how bad the that particular spot was, and then like I stabbed you 3 times, and it finally worked, and that's when my position finally like got good.
And wasn't it too late by then though? Like wasn't
No, I
didn't
was
it
like
no?
tied for first.
Okay. I forgot how that game went. Well,
I ended really really well, but like it was a journey to like get there.
yeah. Yeah. Oh god. Um, and with that, we have the preliminary list, but this isn't the final list because we need to adjust it a bit, everybody. Um, so, I think I'm gonna be bold, Salt. I think there needs to be an Australian debuff. Being on,
You want to bring everyone from there down a tier,
I,
or
I
how
think
do
it
you want to do it?
sounds really unfair, but I think that might actually be the right solution to just knock everyone
Time
from
zones,
Australia. Like,
time zones do matter, unfortunately.
yeah, like it's really important to have like for a press rapport, and there's just not much to do about it otherwise.
That's that's fair,
It's
I'll
sad.
say. It's not necessarily fair. It's like, if you're from there, like, not a whole lot you can really do.
It's not
But
your fault, but if you want to win the Pumpkin Cup, then you need to change your sleep schedule. Okay?
yeah, just like get good.
Yeah. Get one of those moon lamps and like adjust your house's lights so they get in line with the circadian rhythm of like Washington D.C. and you'll be fine.
Yeah, easy.
Let's see. So this list already looks more balanced, right? But we need to balance it more.
We have populated D tier. I would say if StarCat style is similar to L's, I would bring that down to D. I think that press style is a pretty major debuff if she's gonna go into it like L approaches press.
We'll put her. I think that's fair, but put her at the top of D tier because I we haven't
I'm
seen her much.
so
And if the press is flexible and like if the press is good, then I think that Starcat could be ranked as high as B tier.
yeah.
But without knowing that, it's hard to place confidence in her. Now,
I agree with that.
of course, D tier in this context is still like a top diplomacy player. So
Like this was like a regular game. Like these would be the picks to win.
everyone would be S tier if this was a regular game.
Yeah,
But it's not. So
just
it's
like
not.
within S tier.
Yes. Are there any other adjustments you think we need to make here?
Do you want to move anyone up? I think I don't know. I don't know. Tanglewood and A just feels really high to me. I feel like I'm being too harsh for them. Like they did win the ICI, but I don't
My press
know.
with them in the
It
ICA was always
feels
good. They wanted to cooperate with me on anti-Molly stuff for a little bit, and that was
yeah, but it's
useful in
like
keeping myself alive.
Abyssinia with like Britain. There's never gonna be any conflict there. They're always gonna be friendly. Like there's never any like real things to like fight about, you
Well,
know?
but it's still good stuff. Um,
It's still good, yeah.
I think there is still an argument to be made for cast an S tier for like the winning chances being like if we're so here's the game theory of it. We're specifically ranking the chances to win without incorporating anything about how likely you are to flame out or to stagnate. And I think in that sense, cast maybe an A tier is a little bit too low. Like, do you kind of understand where I'm coming from in that sense?
I see your point, yeah. If she gets going, she's very difficult to put an end to.
Like purely in chances to win.
Um,
I think now I'm not sure if that warrants the top of A or the bottom
I
of
don't know.
S.
If we did that, I think everyone would need to tear up, right? Because like everyone here like knows what to do with the winning position. And if we're assuming that they like have a good early game, which I think is what you're like getting at here, I think if everyone here has a good start, then, like they can do really, really well with it. It's just getting that early start. That's the hard part.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, I think. Um, Based on how you're talking about Tanglewood, if you want to be harsh, then this is the harshest I'll be.
I
Um,
can live with that. I'm
I'm not
sorry,
sure if I'm
Tanglewood.
in front or ahead of you realistically. I think a little behind based on pedigree, and then we'll see how it goes. I promise that I maybe won't stab you.
Yeah, if we end up next to each other, it'll be a really, really fun game, I think.
Yeah. Um, I think other than that, this tier list looks about right.
Um,
Um,
yeah, I like
we
it.
might the only change is there might be the tier list looks better if we move one more person into B tier. And then to like for
Visuals.
example,
Should we like move something like from C tier to B
to
tier
B
then?
tier and then to A tier. Um
Who gets bumped up? I think
so
Benji probably is the best player in C tier.
we'll move him up. And then we could just put Ash back up in A tier.
Sure.
Get rid of the Australian debuff. There you go, Ash. You've risen above your terrible
Oh,
location.
he was
Oh,
like number
so
two within the tier. Now he's all the way at the end for time zone for purposes.
true. Right. There we go.
There we go. That's like that's a visually appealing tier list.
Yes. I feel like the zoom got screwed up somehow here. We're just going to zoom in a little bit more. There we go. All right. So yeah, I think this is going to be the conclusion of our chances to win tier list. Unless, do we want to title the tiers, Salt?
Um, what would we title them as?
I think
That's the
this is like
thing.
top
That
contender.
all right,
This
yeah.
is like
Strong threat maybe.
yeah, like strong. Do you want to say threat or do you want to say like strong candidate?
Threat's probably a bad word for the tier we're in, I think.
Strong candidate.
Um, yeah.
Um,
Um, hmm. I want to say like beaches like dark horse.
dark horse. Unless I
I
don't.
want to say like
Maybe this is dark horse,
sorry, go B tier.
right? Do you
I
think B
think
tier's
C tier is gonna be. I think C tier is dark horse. I think beach is
okay?
like situationally like the really strong contenders.
Yeah, I think it's maybe situational is like a good like
Yeah,
situational. Like if you get the right mix of players and then you can just go boom and it's like you're gone and it's great.
yeah. And
C is
F
the
tier
threat.
can be Australia tier.
Well, you just Australia.
Plus plus
Yeah,
one.
but
Australia
Stark
plus one.
but Starcat being an Austria. I mean, yeah, fine. Australia.
She can just like move there, I think, to like make it a better tier.
Yeah, Starcat, if you're
Can
listening, you
like
need to
tie it
move
together.
to Australia now, please.
Yeah.
That's for the tier list. You get it. I'm sure you understand.
Before
Um,
the game, preferably.
yes. Luckily, we have Salt and I actually have deep connections in like Australian government, so we can get you a visa there with no issues.
Yeah.
You will have to pay for your own plane ticket, but those are pretty cheap.
Yeah, you'll have to
Famously,
like figure out like yeah, food and like where like hotels, like I don't know. It's probably not that hard. You
and
got
like
it.
what season it is. I don't really know how the seasons work down there, so you're gonna have to figure that one out.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, it's probably fine.
It'll be good. Yeah, it'll be a good time. Um, yeah, I think that concludes our rankings of the likeliness of players to win in this game. Good times. Um,
Yep. And if you want to change your ranking, dots are a great way to bribe us with.
but this is the best ranking we've seen yet. Um, and on that note, I'd like to thank everyone here for watching. If you are watching, I will actually include a link to the server to spectate it um, in the description. So if you want to come by and watch and see if I'm correct, which I will be, by the way, then come on by. We're gonna have a great time. Um, that's all I got to say.
Our opinions are never wrong, to be clear.
Yes. And if you think they are, you should leave a bunch of comments on the video for no particular reason at all.
Of course.
But yeah, thanks for watching. Adios.
Adios.